Shortly after I graduated from law school and I was admitted to practice as an attorney, my grandfather became ill. And my mom and dad took care of him at home for a couple, 3 months, but his needs were such that he needed to be admitted to a nursing home. And at that time, my grandfather had a small Navy pension, he had a small savings account, and he had the cottage. And we had to sell the cottage in order to pay for him to be in the nursing home. I can remember the closing like it was yesterday. It was one of the saddest things I've ever seen my family go through. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to learn how to make sure something like that never again happened in my family. And if I could do anything about it, it wouldn't happen to other people's families either. Today, we face more threats to our financial legacy and to our loved ones' inheritances than perhaps at any other time. And those threats come from a number of different directions. Nursing home expenses continue to go up. The New York State Department of Health tells us that here in the Rochester, New York area, the average cost of a nursing home is over $130,000 a year. But when we survey the area nursing homes, we find that that's actually a much higher figure. The typical cost of a nursing home in our area today is $486 per day. That's $14,750 in a 30-day month, $177,000 a year. That is a staggering amount of money. The main purpose of probate is changing title from the name of the person who has died and into the names of the persons designated in the will who are supposed to receive those assets. And some of you may be thinking, well, yeah, Mike, that's why we did the will, so the assets get to those people. And a lot of people will tell me that they think, well, I did a will, so that avoids probate. But the opposite is true. Because even though your will specifies who's going to receive those assets, it's not automatic. And in fact, the will has to go through probate in order to authorize the executor to distribute the assets to the appropriate people. You see this very common traditional I love you will estate plan didn't give us any way to protect assets from a nursing home, didn't keep us out of court when someone was incapacitated or when they died. If it was a concern, gave us no way to protect assets in case the surviving spouse remarries, no protection for the kids and the grandkids if they were to get divorced or if they were to encounter some kind of creditor issue, no way to capture that non-financial wealth. Well, then isn't there a better way to do this? Well, I think there is. In fact, I feel very strongly that for many people at least, there is a better way, and that's with legacy wealth planning. Our family wealth trust now, when properly funded, allows us to keep our family out of the court system entirely, and at the same time, allows us to put in place some very significant protections for our beneficiaries. This trust plan also gives us the facility to begin collecting and nurturing values and some of that other non-financial wealth. It's certainly better to plan at least 5 years in advance for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to be a lot less stressful for the family. And number two, we're going to protect more of the assets. But even if someone is already in the nursing home and they haven't done any planning, in almost every instance, we're going to be able to protect a substantial amount of their assets. The second big misconception about this type of planning is sometimes people will say, well, yeah, I know, Mike, you could put these assets in a trust and they'd be protected. But once I put my assets in this trust, I lose control over them. It's an irrevocable trust that's written in stone. I can't ever make changes to it. I can't get at my assets anymore. I mean, we could do it that way. And unfortunately, I've seen it done that way too many times, but it doesn't have to be done that way. And the whole point being, this should not be some kind of canned text, bare bones arrangement. Custom crafted for each particular client and their family to address the issues of importance to them.